Mm. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, 26th of January. I'm Karen Kierton, social media trainer, showing up here live every single Monday. I'm a bit later today because I've got the lovely Kate Llewellyn joining me. Good morning, Kate. Oh, it's only just good morning.
Yes, a weird one, isn't it? Yes, happy noon.
So yeah, it's great to have you here with me. And we met, Kate and I met, for anybody watching, we met through the lovely Athena network. Because whereabouts geographically are you based, Kate?
So I'm down in Hampshire and I'm part of the lovely Stockbridge Athena group, so within the Winchester region.
Oh, lovely. And who's your regional director then? Is that Laura?
Joanna Summers.
Oh, Joanne. Oh, Jo's lovely.
Oh, she's an absolute legend. Yeah, absolutely. If she's not in your world, people watching, go and check her out.
She is the most lovely. She is the most lovely woman. Well, all the regional directors are, actually. I mean, I've been in Athena for like forever. And what about you? How long have you been part of the community?
So I actually only joined just under a year ago. So yeah, I think it was about April time last year. So I obviously have known about Athena, you know, it's an amazing network. But yeah, I actually only joined thanks to Jo. Yeah, I did her International Women's Day Mastermind Day and just loved it so much, and loved not only herself but the sort of the vibe in the room and the people in the room. So yeah, I then had to join and had to give it a try.
Oh, brilliant. And we're going to talk a little bit about content because that's what you do. And I think the content confidence is really big, because I think, you know, people will often say to me, oh gosh, marketing, oh, I hate that. And in fact, last Thursday, I hosted a full day in-person event, and we called it a day of getting your hit done. Perfect. And we were talking about the fact that I think people get frightened when they hear the word marketing. And I've started reframing that and not banning myself from using the M word, calling it visibility. Yeah. Because I think it is all about visibility. So you're a content confidence coach. You help business owners find clarity and confidence. And you've got group programs, memberships. Tell us a little bit more about you and your business, and then we'll crack into confidence.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, absolutely. So, funnily enough, I come from a sort of more of a professional content writing background. I used to write websites and blogs and email on behalf of companies and SMEs and individuals, and absolutely loved it, and that was fine. And obviously, as part of that, I'm, you know, officially running my own business. So I started to have to, you know, get into doing the whole social media and the M word, the marketing of that and things like that. And post COVID, I decided that actually there was only one of me, and I could only ever write on behalf of, you know, so many people, whereas actually I could help a lot more people to do it themselves if I set up a membership. So I set up this little basic, bless it, membership called the Content Club, and the idea was very much just to teach people how to do marketing, how to create different pieces of content, whether that was social media, but also like blogs and email marketing and all things like that. And funnily enough, it kind of evolved into a lot about planning. So we would get together on a quarterly basis and put together our kind of 90-day plan. And that would be about, you know, which social media posts we were going to put out, which bits of, you know, emails or blogs or whatever else we were going to do in the next 3 months. And then in between, I run content clinics, which basically help people to make sure they implement that plan, and any barriers that come up when we're struggling for ideas, all those things that I'm sure are like really familiar to people. But what I found and what led me to content confidence was that there were a few people that would put together these plans, absolutely beautiful. They knew exactly what they were going to do, but they never came to fruition. Or even the step of planning, actually committing to paper what maybe they needed to do for their business just to promote it, again, to avoid the M word, but just, you know, to promote it, be visible, nurture, you know, their audiences. it was just too much. And I kept feeling like I'd let these people down. You know, they joined my membership, they didn't appear to
don't
be
you?
doing, you know, but you
Totally
did. Oh,
get
it's
that.
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And so I took that really horrible leap of actually saying, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? You've got this beautiful plan, but when I'm following you, you know, on your chosen platform, I'm not seeing any of it. And it was always the classic. They'd come to me first of all, and it'd be time. And I'd be like, yeah, that's an easy one. Everyone uses time. We all wish we had more time. But let's be honest, when something's a priority, we make the time. So why isn't it a priority? Why is promoting your business, which for a lot of us is, you know, one of our key foundations of running a business, why isn't that important? And it came back to this element of mindset, of confidence. I would find out that they had scheduled content but just didn't actually hit post. You know, they drafted it all, it was ready, but they wouldn't do it because they tell themselves, oh, everyone's heard this before, I'm not saying anything new, it's poor quality, it's rubbish, it's, you know, all these things. And yet, knowing them as I often did, or if I got them on a call, you know, they would tell me the most amazing things that they'd achieved in their business. They would tell me about this amazing experience that they had in their, you know, before they maybe became a business owner or what have you. And yet for some reason they didn't feel like they were allowed, you know, to put this out on social media or even in an email or on their website, whatever it might be. And so I decided that, as I affectionately call it, I needed a prequel to the club. And this is where and this is where the content confidence stuff came from. So I've started to work with people both one-to-one and, as you kindly mentioned, in a group program where we basically bring together the emotional and the practical. So we do, you know, think about why are we doing the content creation we're doing? Why are we doing that marketing? Thinking about the customer journey. How are we going to go, like you said, from visibility to actually engaging people, to nurturing them, and to making the sale. So I'm really passionate about, we look at that whole spectrum of content. It's not just the beginning. And as part of that, we make sure that we put together a content strategy that underpins all of that. And we set our minimum content commitment so we know exactly what we're doing and why. And as I say, we bring together both the emotional and the practical. So we then step back and go, right, are there any mind monkeys that are going to stop us actually implementing and actually doing all of the stuff that we know now is really important for our business and why we want to do it? Is there anything stopping us? And just making sure there isn't. And when people are at that stage, obviously then the membership, my Confident Content Creators Club, you know, is a breeze, because all of a sudden we're just following our strategy, we're putting a plan in place and we're creating the content. And yeah, it's just really powerful, because, as you know, there's nothing more heartbreaking than an absolutely brilliant person hiding from the online space.
Oh, it's so true. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about the fact that it's so confusing for people. A lot of my clients will say to me, well, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll often talk about the 3 Ps framework. I call it, you know, personality, problem solving, pedigree, you know, the pedigree of you and your business. And there is that, isn't it? Because there's some people, you know, I've done it myself. I'm in the middle of doing a Meta Business Suite Facebook ads course, and I'm really good at telling other people what to do. Really good at talking about strategy and planning and focus. In fact, last Thursday's workshop, you know, I said to the group, okay, let's talk about what your business priorities are for the first 6 months of 2026. Then let's break that down into Q1 and Q2. Okay, so this is what you want to be doing in your business in Q1. So what's that going to look like in real terms for visibility? Are you email marketing? And do you think people, I mean, I last week said, you know, the O word is a real thing. People get totally overwhelmed. Do you think this is why people struggle, is that because people will say, don't they, I'm not a writer, Kate, can you do it for me? I mean, what sort of things do people say to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All of what you've said. So like the overwhelm, the feeling stupid because I don't know everything about every platform and how it all works, being really, there's just so many features, and obviously to depend on what you use, whether you use Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whether you have a website, don't have a website, have a blog, don't have a blog, it's that, isn't it? It's just that thing. It's wonderful that I love it that we have all these digital marketing tools.
Me too.
But I think what you and I know are on the same page is I say to people, like, take back ownership. Let's forget overwhelm and let's take back ownership. Which features do you want to use? If you don't want to jump around and make reels, don't. If you like you said, you mentioned like either like writing or not writing. If you don't like writing, don't start a traditional blog, but maybe start a blog, maybe do a video version, maybe get into podcasting, maybe, if you like sort of short snippets of writing, then obviously captions and posts are great for you. So like figure out what you want to do. They are all tools that you can just adopt for your arsenal. And then I am 100% on the same page as you as well, which is that with all of our marketing, with all of our content, set that goal, know what you want it to achieve for you, and then figure out how it can work for you, figure out how it gets you closer to your goal. I use the analogy of don't get stuck on the content treadmill, which we've all got to be on. We've got to keep putting ourselves out there. We've got to keep advertising. We've got to do that. But don't get stuck on a content treadmill that is going a little bit too fast and on a really steep gradient. And, it always constantly feels like you're fighting to stay on and you're not going to get shot off the back. Figure out, isn't it? Figure out your content treadmill that's had that lovely, we just walk along, we're keeping pace, we feel like we could do this all day, every day. And, just to take the analogy even further, you're on that pathway that's getting you to exactly where you want to be. And if you want to take a little step off and try something new or again, it all feels really good, Karen. It's exciting. It's nice. It's not stressful. It's not beating ourselves up. It's not feeling useless or rubbish. It's just knowing that, our marketing as a whole, it's a sum of all of its parts. Every little post, every little thing that you do, every conversation you have, every networking event, that you go to, it all leads to that goal. And that's all that really matters. We don't need to beat ourselves up. Which
I totally agree. So I use the analogy because it was my business, because it was easy. So I said to him, for example, I'm hosting a free workshop for women in business. I need to put that in the group. Free workshop for women in business on the 6th of March. So I'm working back from that because I want to start talking about that event in January and February.
Yep.
Then in March, after the event, I'll probably do some content about, did you miss out on it? Do you want to make sure you don't miss out on future events? Sign up for my mail, my weekly newsletter, so you're going to get it. But what I was sharing with my group is, I said, that content that I'm creating to out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever, I can then make that into my weekly email. I can then write a blog about, and I think that's where people, you must see it with your clients, when they have this light bulb moment, it's not just a blog.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just that. It can then become your email newsletter. And I have a lot of clients that say, I haven't got that T word, the time. And I remember years and years ago, a personal trainer saying to me, who I was working with to try and have an amazing holiday board. And I said something about, I don't know if I can do that. He said, Karen, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's how we choose to use it. And I think the risk is, I usually don't even have my phone in the office because I know that there are, as much as I love social media, it can be incredibly distracting.
Yeah.
So what tips would you share with somebody that's struggling with content confidence, apart from joining your fabulous membership? Well, what tips would you give somebody who's struggling?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that there is a power in the plan. I know not everyone are natural planners or anything like that, but your example is just a prime reason to do it. Once you have the goal and you have the plan of how to get there. Once you can work backwards, it suddenly makes so much fits into place. And like even the simple thing, isn't it, of asking sort of who, how, why, what, when, around a particular subject or a particular event or a particular thing you're trying to sell, it automatically creates content that's on message, that's really clear and things like that. So having that plan in place. The other thing I often say to people about sort of confidence and planning is just putting the plan in place. Whether you fulfill it or not is actually a wonderful reflective exercise, because you can start to look and go, well, hang on a minute, why is it that I planned all these posts and I didn't do it? What was going on there? Why didn't I make the time? The other thing as well is I always say to people, like, record what you did do. So sometimes people say to me, yeah, I didn't follow the plan, but I put out posts and I did this and okay, that's great too. And that's really confidence boosting, because it shows you how much content you actually can create in a month or whatever. Might not have been exactly to plan, but it shows what you can. So I do believe in that, like planning and recording what you do and don't do, I think is really powerful. And then we can also take it back to that goal. Did you get the 50 people on the event that you wanted? Did you make the 4 sales? Did you or didn't you? If you didn't, there's as much to learn in that. No such thing as failure in my book, as there is from putting it all in place and it making it all come to fruition. And I think it's just that, I suppose the last thing I want to say is just confidence comes from like those little nudges that say you're doing the right thing. And sometimes, especially as solo business owners, right, we need to find those nudges. There's not always going to be the world out there telling us that we're brilliant, so we need to find them. And doing that, isn't it? It's like putting out that content, getting those people on the course, making the sale, getting even the likes or the comments, look for where you are getting those positive signals that say, yeah, you're doing all right.
And I think that is a huge thing. And I would just add something that I actually said the other day to one of my clients is, not everybody engages with your content. So don't go all imposter syndrome and say that chimp sitting on your shoulder. Nobody's listening, because actually this happened to me. I've been going live for about 5 years, regularly every single week, unless I was away on holiday or really unwell. I was live, and it was my weekly dose of engaging with my audience. And I do it live on LinkedIn and Facebook through this platform, and then I would usually jump over onto Instagram and do it live on Instagram. And I was thinking, am I just wasting my time here? Because I initially started doing it as content for my YouTube channel, and that's not my audience really. But then I got an inquiry through my website. He didn't come through LinkedIn where he'd seen it. He then went onto my website, then contacted me and said, can we have a chat? And I think it's that thing around, we're creating content, we're putting it into multiple places, but we never know how somebody's then going to engage with us, do we?
No. And I always counter to people that say, like, there was no engagement, or but if you hadn't posted at all, then you'd have nothing. Whereas you don't know, like you said, you will have your impressions or what have you. So that means people have seen it. So yeah, I am completely with you that it's so important to put content out there, because you just don't know where people, and I said it before, but your marketing is the sum of all of its parts. You need all of it. Like you just said, you need that person to see the video, to book the call, we very rarely, I'm sorry to say, post one post and someone goes, yep, I'm going to buy that from you. Thank you very much. Unless maybe you're Timu. But even then, you've got a huge campaign behind you. But no, genuinely, it's not about that. It's always about just keep that, like I say, that treadmill rolling, that visibility going, that moving people along. And also, I think the other thing is, how many of us, we sit and scroll, right? Do we comment on every single post? Do we like every single thing we see?
No.
And yet something can really resonate with us. We can absolutely love a piece of content, but we don't interact with it that day because at that moment the phone rings or the kids come running in, whatever it might be. So yeah, absolutely reframe that. Don't take it personally. Think about that everything is just moving your customers in the right direction, and it will turn out. And it's amazing how often, like you said, you can say these people come into your world and they will you think they never liked or commented on a post ever. They're not even on my mailing list, all of these things, but somehow they've still got to you. And I would always say, without that marketing that you did do, they were unlikely to have found you.
Yeah, so and I think that is so true. So as we were saying before we went on to this live, because I can't believe we're gonna have to do this again. I feel like
it's like, no, we'll wrap up. We need
a part 2. We'll definitely need a part 2. Is that this live's an example of creating content that isn't stressful or difficult. I'm the woman that I never watch any of my lives back. I can't bear seeing myself. But, I will be sharing the link to this on my weekly email. I will be putting it into my Facebook group. So it's content that I'm creating once and using in different ways. And I think sometimes as small business owners, we can get a bit tunnel vision. Yeah. And we can't say, well, actually, I could take that and I could use it.
Definitely.
And I could create different things with it. And that fascinates me that we can do it. So we definitely need to continue this conversation. I would encourage people to follow and connect with Kate. I will pop her website under the live for you guys to connect with Kate. Kate, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me too. It's been great. It's, lovely when you're chatting with someone totally on the same page, and the difference that we can make is really phenomenal.
Absolutely. And I will love learning more about what you do, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.